the Mavericks gig, that is like a really minimalistic,
Oh
sort of like
yeah,
rootsy type of vibe that you're playing. Was it
absolutely.
like so? Talk about the gigs. How did you get the gig to start with? Was it
Oh,
like
that
an
gig.
audition procedure, or was it a phone
Well,
call? Hey Ed, come and do the Mavericks gig.
yeah, no, it was well. It's always through someone you know, essentially. And there, at the time, the guy who was playing bass with them was a fellow named James Intveld, who's very popular on his own right as a frontman. He's a singer, a songwriter, plays all the instruments, and he's like kind of in that rockabilly sort of world. I
Yeah.
don't want to pigeonhole him too much, but you know, you'd call him like a rootsy rockabilly, roots country kind of guy, honky tonk rockabilly. Um, and so he was playing bass with the Mavericks because he was friends with one of the guys in the band. They needed someone, and he was doing the gig. But I worked with him. Like he used to come into Austin every now and then and play shows, and I got connected with him and played like just little honky tonk gigs with him. And about a year later, I ran into him. We were on this cruise, a blues cruise gig,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and this thing happens every January. So we're on the cruise gig, and I saw him playing with the Mavericks. I was like, first of all, I didn't even know he played upright bass. So I'm like, wow, like man, you know, you do it all, right? And I talked to him, and we were hanging out, and he said, you know, I got a few shows coming up that I booked before I took this gig that I gotta do. So you know, I said, hey, if you need a sub, give me a holler, you know, and it turned out he did. And so I went out to sub for him. But like, you know, really in his heart, I think as though as much as he enjoyed playing the gig, he's a front man.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks gig on bass, it's not what you have to do is very simple, but doing it requires a couple of things, you know, stamina, strength, and a willingness
Yeah.
to do that. Now, I think he had those things, but the other thing that he necessarily, like, he, look, when you're a lead singer, when you're a songwriter, what you want to be there. You want to be the guy in front
Yeah.
doing your song. And I think it's a really difficult thing to for someone in that position to just sign yourself off as I'm just going to play bass for these guys.
Yeah.
So really, he wanted to get back to his solo career.
Yeah.
So when I went out, I subbed, and my intention was to just like have them like me so I could sub several times a year when he needed me. But instead, they offered me the gig. And I was like, ooh, well, you know,
Win.
I mean, I didn't want to steal a gig from anyone, but they said, look, James wants to get back to his career.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, you know, I didn't want to be like, I'm not a predatory guy. I didn't come after his gig, but, you know, they offered it to me and explained that, you know, he wants to move on. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. So.
And was it when you started doing the gig? Because did you have to kind of check yourself sometimes and just think, make sure you're not playing too much? Because
Well, yeah, absolutely, sure, and I still do. I mean, to a degree, uh, uh, you know, the lines that I play. There's two different types of ballparks. There's like Latin-based stuff, you know, because some of the tune there's a heavy Latin influence. So there's Latin lines, Root 5/8 kind of thing,
yeah,
and then there's quarter note lines, which could either be ska. We do a lot of ska, early ska. I love that. And we play like early ska. We'll play jump blues. We'll play honky tonk, and all of these things is boom, 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 boom. Root 3/5.
yeah,
Try it. So you know, but you know, one of the things I always, well, how about if I go 3/5 root, like, you know, inversions, right?
yeah,
I'm always trying to see what, but you know what? That gets me off, not in trouble, but, you know, Raul, our lead singer, is also a very talented bass player. And he hears everything. He's a real musician. You know, he's not just a lead singer. He's a very musical
he's in
person.
it, yeah,
So anything that I do that's slightly different than what he expects to hear, it's like he doesn't even turn his head. I just see his neck, like, you know, the vein in his neck pops.
the vein.
It's like, oh, third in the bass, you know. So I have to remind myself that while many things can work, in this case I have to go with the one thing that we know works. So,
Yeah.
there are a few moments where I can open it up a little bit, but the requirement of the job doesn't allow me a lot of musical freedom in that, like, I can't choose what notes I play always freely. I have to stick with the part.
Yeah.
And I can't vary it subtly always over the span of an arrangement. I can't build a part so much as it is playing the same thing, but working with the energy level. That's a big part of it. It's not so much what I play as much as how I'm playing it. So the goals are, of course, to like embody the rhythm,
Yeah.
to like be the rhythm, whatever it is,
Yeah.
even though half the time I'm just playing boom, 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 the quarter note. It's funny, Mike, the guitar tech who's been with the band forever, he'll stand on the far side of the stage, and every now and then I look over at him and he's looking at me and his mouth is just with boom, 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 boom. It's like,